I am Christy-Faith, and I am here with you tonight. It's so good to see you guys. Hello, welcome. I am Christy-Faith, and I am here to talk all things education and homeschooling. I've been an educational expert for pretty much my entire career. We used to run a boutique learning center and consulting firm where we helped the families of A-listers and billionaires. And then what happened is I had an awakening and I decided, wait a minute, what in the hamster wheel are we doing? And my eyes were kind of opened and I realized that what I wanted for my family, I was a new mom at the time, that I wanted to homeschool. And I've never looked back since then. I'm also the author of this book called Homeschool Rising. It's backwards on some of your platforms. It's backwards on Instagram right now. That is okay. And so I am here tonight to answer any and all questions. This is the time of year where we get a lot of questions regarding pulling your kids out for January. It's the second most common time that parents begin or commence homeschooling their children. And so, hi, welcome everybody on TikTok. I'm Christy-Faith. If I know you or if you're in Thrive, will you please let me know? Because often I don't connect your real name with your handle on social media. I would love to know. Thumbs up if my sound is okay. How's my sound? Instagram, TikTok, I think we're okay. Just give me a thumbs up. And then my mic is on YouTube and Facebook. So I do think we're okay on YouTube and Facebook. I'd love to know where you're from first. And then number two, why you are deciding to stop right now on this live. Are you curious about homeschooling? Are you a newer homeschooler? Are you a veteran homeschooler? And you came in to support, and I want you all to stay. I want you to ask any questions that you have. There is no question that you can be embarrassed about or anything about homeschooling, because the reality is there are a lot of misconceptions. There are a lot of myths regarding homeschooling. And I'm here to answer those today because a lot of you, we start homeschooling because our heart is tugging at us. And we just know that we need something different for our kids. We want to take back their hearts and their minds. Let me know in the comments if you are homeschooling because you didn't like what was going on in the schools, whether it be the curriculum that is being taught or the social environment. The number one reason why parents choose to homeschool in America is hilarious, considering what we are constantly accused of, and it's actually social environment. Isn't that ironic? And then we're the ones accused of not socializing our kids, which I'm happy to talk about tonight. Homeschool socialization, homeschool academics, homeschooling high school. How do you get into college? The reality is that colleges are actually recruiting homeschoolers, because they are exemplary students. So welcome everybody. It's so good to see you. I want to hear where you're from and what stage of homeschooling you are. 3 stages: curious about homeschooling within your first 5 years, or veteran. 3 stages. I'd love to hear. Or if you're just stopping by because you're like, homeschooling's weird, I just want to hear what this woman has to say. Who is she? How dare she encourage unqualified parents to homeschool their children? How dare she? Yes, how dare I? I said that comment because I actually get that comment quite often. And the reality is there is no one on the face of the earth more qualified than a parent to homeschool their own child. And I can tell you why. You can also find out why in my book, Homeschool Rising. That is a great place to start. Please ask your homeschooling and educational questions right now. I am here for the next hour. Do we have our first question?
Violent, out-of-control kids in the classroom.
Yes.
One of the reasons.
Oh, one of the reasons, violent, out-of-control kids in the classroom. Absolutely. And schools' hands are tied and they cannot do anything about it. Absolutely. What are other reasons why you guys have decided to homeschool? I'd love to hear. Mine is I dared to ask myself a pretty dangerous question about 20 years ago. And that was, I asked myself, what is an education? Woo! And that led to everything. It led to everything. This was even before I had all of my children, and it was a lot of research, and it eventually led us to sell our company, move states, and I became a stay-at-home homeschool mom. My kids are a little bit older now. They're not babies anymore. And so I am here to help you guys tonight and answer all of your questions. I have read thousands of IEPs. I can talk to special needs for sure as well this evening. That is a large reason why a lot of parents pull their kiddos out from school, is because the special needs classroom, which I even hate that term, is failing kids. It's failing kids. They're losing their glimmer. Their light is becoming dim, and you miss your kid. Anybody else? You're like, where's my kid? I want my kid back. My kid is so cool. Where's my kid? And so you homeschooled, and then all of a sudden your kid came back. I'd love to hear that in the comments if that was one of your stories. Yes. Do we have a question or a comment?
Yeah. Becca says, homeschooling when you struggle as a mom teacher with depression and anxiety.
Yeah, so this is very real. Her question is, and I know I need to repeat the questions because not everyone can hear Scott, so I will make sure to do that. What platform is this mama on, this sweetie?
TikTok.
Okay, hi, I'm so glad you're here. Valid question. We've actually talked about this in Thrive Homeschool Community, which is my community where I help you build a fail-proof homeschool. And that is, how do you homeschool if you're a mama who struggles with anxiety and depression herself? How do you do it? A lot of us do it. A lot of us do it. I can't speak for you. I can't tell you. I don't know the severity of your days. And I am sure that you're an absolutely wonderful mama. So this is the first thing that I will say, is that not everyone can homeschool. I truly believe that in my heart. And also not everyone should. You would be more in the can I or can I not category. By the should, that should category is, right, the parents who, I can't say it or I'll get censored, but the parents who do not want what's best for their kiddos. So not everyone can homeschool and not everyone should homeschool. But I will add to that, more people can homeschool than they think. Because homeschool, although it's a challenging life choice, it's a totally different lifestyle, it is really fulfilling and amazing. And you have the opportunity to connect with your kiddos so deeply and to have them connect with each other and to build family memories together and ultimately to grow together. So I don't know where you are with your emotional or mental health right now, but what I will say is I personally, and I'd love to hear a show of hands or hearts if this has been you too, has homeschooling helped you grow as a human? It certainly has for me. It's really presented challenges that I was like, oh, I can't solve this by just sending my kid away to school. That would be a lot easier on me, but I really have to confront this and grow. But I am not about to say that anyone should be doing anything. That is not my place. I am here as a homeschool advocate. I also firmly believe deep down in my heart that there is no better place to educate a child than in a loving home with a motivated parent. And so there is that as well. And I wish I knew you more. But what I will say is that one of the components of Thrive Homeschool Community, which is the community that I run, is we have office hours, and that's kind of our support group time. We know that with anxiety and depression, one of the biggest helps for that is community. We know this. The research shows this. And so I wanted to make sure that we provided community and support in a loving, non-judgmental way in Thrive Homeschool Community. And I'd love to hear from anybody in Thrive right now if you have found a lot of emotional support in Thrive. It's a parent-only community. It's not anything for kids. It's where I train you and teach you how to build a kick butt homeschool that does right by your kids and prepares them well for their future life. But also so much of that is working on our own stuff. Honestly, lots of parenting, lots of camaraderie. So yes, do we have another question?
Miss Kyle over on Instagram.
Hi, Miss Kyle. How's my sound on Instagram?
She says, question, I'm new to being home and homeschooling.
Yes.
How do I balance both and let go of the guilt of having a messy house for now?
Okay, this is Kyle. I love this question. Kyle is saying, Miss Kyle. Hi, Miss Kyle. I want to make sure you guys can hear me okay. Yay! Awesome. I love this question. I love it. And she is new to homeschooling. It's all kind of newer. I think the way Scott framed it is that you're new to being home and homeschooling. I'm not sure. And it's like, how do you deal with juggling and wearing all of the hats? You're the mother, you're the teacher, you're the housekeeper, you're the cook, you're the chauffeur. You are all of those things. And how do you do that? And how do you deal with having a messy house? Okay, I can tell you, oh, this is so fun. I can tell you what I have done. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments what you guys have done. Here's what I do, because I actually like a pretty clean and tidy house. Visual clutter is extremely dysregulating for me, for this mama. And so maybe it is for you guys too. What I have done is I have built, and I can help you with this. We talk about scheduling all the time in Thrive Homeschool Community. But what I have done is I have built into our homeschool day, in the schedules, 3 scheduled cleanups per day. And we have zones, and zones are assigned. And I have found over the years that rather than one big cleanup, it just takes too long, especially if you have little kids. They lose their steam. I end up losing it as well. I have found that when I have 3 that are habit stacked, you guys know from Atomic Habits, that are habit stacked with a meal. So breakfast cleanup, lunch cleanup, dinner cleanup, that it's easier to keep the house relatively tidy for most of the day. I have 4 children, but here's the thing. I have 4, and when you homeschool, you're going to get this too. I have 4 extremely creative, imaginative, playful, pull stuff out of the garage and basement, carabiners, this, building castles and Legos and all this stuff. That's what I have. I'll walk up and in a matter of a day, they will have every book off the shelf because they just got into like this reading interest time. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not going to scream at my kids and say, you took every book off the shelf. I'm okay with that because we have our scheduled times that we clean up, and I really want their creative juices flowing. I have no idea. I want to give the benefit of the doubt on how the library got that way. But my point is that is one tip that I can give you on this live is we schedule it in. Now, regarding wearing all of the hats. So it's interesting because one of the talks I give at conferences is my Homeschool 101 talk. The title is Homeschool 101, Doing It Scared. Here's another thing that is so important, you guys, regarding scheduling and scheduling your week and wearing all of the hats. You're, like I said before, you're the diaper changer, you're the cook, you are the chauffeur, you are the teacher, you are the cleaner, the housekeeper, you're all those things. I really believe in scheduling your week and prioritizing your week at the beginning of the week. I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. tomorrow, even though we're on vacation, and I'm going to look at all of my week because I work full time and I homeschool 4 kids. I juggle a lot. I have a lot of Zooms. The first thing I put in my schedule is everything that I have to be there. I have to be somewhere. It's either work or with the kids. It doesn't matter. Everything is like equal playing ground there. And then I work backwards and I backfill the other things that need to take place. So we have, if you look at the 8-step framework in Thrive Homeschool Community, we have an entire step that's called Managing the Mayhem. And I wrote an ebook on this. So, but the ebook's only available in Thrive. So if you guys are interested, you can check out Thrive Homeschool Community. Yes. I hope you got something there. Me not knowing you at all, I hope that was helpful and encouraging. And I love that question. It's valid because it is an adjustment for everybody.
She said yes. Brilliant.
Yay! Awesome. And maybe I'll get to meet you too one day. Okay.
Yeah, Danielle over back on TikTok said...
Hi, Danielle.
She was asking about 6th grade curriculum.
6th grade curriculum?
Yeah, trying to find what curriculum is best for 6th grade and middle school.
Okay, for 6th grade and middle school. So the first thing, my number one question I get is, Christy, the number one question I get is about socialization and being attacked. But the second question I get when a mom has decided to homeschool, the very first question I get, and I'll never be sick of getting it, and I'm always happy to answer it, is, Christy, what curriculum do I buy? What curriculum is good? Because we can't execute our homeschooling without a plan, right? So I get that. So the first thing that I want to say is that most curricula options that are sold on the market fall within a certain pedagogy. What is a pedagogy? A pedagogy is a homeschooling style. There are 9 homeschooling styles. If you know your style, please put it in the comments. There are 9. If we can name them all, that'd be so fun. So what style are you? I have a free 5-minute homeschool style finder on my website. You can, whatever platform you're on right now, you can click my face and literally take the 5-minute homeschool style finder right now. Before I can recommend any curriculum, like name any name for you, I have to know your style. Because if you come out as Waldorfy, I'm not going to name traditional programs for you, for example, right? We want alignment. And that is really important. I think a lot of moms fail when they start homeschooling, not because they give up, because they were set up to fail in the first place, because they didn't understand this vital component of homeschooling. There are 9 different homeschooling styles. Knowing your style is the first step, and then that eliminates like 85% of what's on the market. And then you can target and look at what is going to fit you and your family the best and start there. Once I know your style, then I can start giving you curricula options. We have a detailed seminar, a masterclass in Thrive on the 9 homeschooling styles. And not only do I go over and explain all the styles, but I give you the top parent reads for those styles. So the top thought leaders, the books that you should read on the philosophy of that style. And I also give you top 5 or 6 curriculum options that are the most reputable in that style. That's in Thrive Homeschool Community. But for now, don't worry about that. Just take the 5-minute homeschool style finder right now, and I'll be here. I'm here for some more time. So then come back and tell me what style you are. Do we have any Thrive Mamas in here? I want to know I'm not alone.
Whack More Bark Less over on Instagram.
Hello.
Is a Thrive member.
Yay.
Thrive is amazing.
Oh, awesome. Who are you? Wagmore. You better DM me tonight and say, hey, it's me. I love your handle.
Within the first 5 years of homeschooling, we love it, and we'll be adjusting to a few things next year. We're in Colorado.
Yay!
Eclectic, but almost certain my kids are unschoolers.
Nice.
Sarah from Colorado.
Yay, Sarah. I'm in Colorado too. I'm in the Denver area. What part are you in? We're originally from Los Angeles. A little bit of my background is I've been in education for my entire professional career. I did start out in the classroom, and my husband and I ran a boutique learning center and consulting firm. We served the children of A-listers and billionaires in Los Angeles for many, 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 many years. And we kind of had an awakening and an epiphany, and we realized, what are we doing? Long story short, we really started to feel like we were supporting a system that we no longer believed in, and that a system that we did not want to put our own children in. That led us to selling our company, moving states, me becoming a stay-at-home homeschool mom. Later on, one day, making a TikTok. That's how this book even got done. If you guys don't have my book yet, make sure to grab it. That's the very short version of my story. But I am here because I think it's so important that we have educational experts in the homeschooling field. There is quite a bit of bad and damaging advice out there that is not based on research. I try to stay on top of the research. I am well-versed in special needs. I have read thousands of IEPs. Most of the mamas I help have at least one child who has special needs. We intervened. We had at our center, we had departments, and we did tons of interventions. So please don't hesitate to ask any question regarding your child's learning profile as well here tonight. Happy to help you. If you have a child who is considered to be a child who has a unique learning profile or a special need, I know there's word police now. You can never say anything right. Just know that I have to use certain terminology because the newest terminology, people will be like, what does that even mean? So, you probably have heard from pediatricians or therapists that you're not qualified to homeschool because of your child's diagnosis. I want you to know right now, here and now, you need to read my book because they are wrong. They are absolutely wrong. And if you ask any teacher who works in special ed, they probably would agree with me. I won't go into much detail now unless you ask. You can ask me right now. But I'll wait because that'll be like a 3-minute soapbox. Okay.
Wagmore Park Les is in Castle Rock.
No way! And she's in Thrive.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Sarah.
Oh, it's Sarah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Wait,
okay.
Is that right? Did I say that right?
Is it Sarah?
Yeah, Sarah.
Okay.
Okay. And then there's a Sarah from Miami too.
Hi, Sarah from Miami.
Purple Switch and Jules are here.
Hi, guys. Hi, Purple Switch and Jules. I love you guys so much.
Danny's asking, what is Thrive?
Yeah, so Danny is asking, what is Thrive Homeschool Community? So that is my nationwide homeschool community for parents. It's for parents. It's where I teach you how to build a fail-proof homeschool, one that does right by your kids, gives them what they need now. I help you figure that out. I make sure that you're building a homeschool that sets them up for the brightest future possible for them. But also, I make sure that you love it. I want to make sure you love it along the way and that you are just loving this rich life that you have with your kids. And so I built Thrive Homeschool Community because it's what I wish I had when I first started. So you can check it out. Just click my face and you can check out Thrive Homeschool Community. Who took the 5-minute homeschool style finder, by the way? It's free. Who took that? Let's mention another freebie that I have. I have a list of curricula options that I really like. You can download that for free. I also have, for those of you veteran homeschool moms who are here tonight and have been here a while, I have a homeschool wellness check. And that is, it's kind of a self-assessment on the 10 critical areas of your homeschool, just to check in and see how you're doing. You're probably going to realize, no, we're doing okay. But sometimes we just need a third party to tell us that we're doing okay. That's what that resource is. It's called a homeschool wellness check. That's free as well. So I mentioned the style finder that is free, the curriculum recommendations, free, homeschool wellness check, free. And the last thing I'll mention is there's a free ebook. It's 23 pages and it's the steps on how to start homeschooling. Free. I have all of that for free, you guys. So anyway, okay. Yes. Should we talk about okay. Awesome. So I want to make sure to mention that I'm able to go live and to help you guys because of our generous sponsors. If you haven't checked out BJU Press Homeschool Curriculum, I highly encourage that you take a look at it. A lot of people think of BJU Press Homeschool Curriculum as an all-in-one option only, and that's not the case at all. We love using BJU Press Homeschool for particular subjects. As you guys know, I lean towards a classical and Charlotte Mason style. I love teaching my kids together. Yes, different grade levels together. And let me tell you, BJU Press Homeschool for certain subjects has been absolutely phenomenal to help me on that end. It's also a curriculum that does a lot of the heavy lifting for you. If you are a busy mom, an overwhelmed mom, a mom with a lot of kids, a working mom, and you are a Christian, this is a faith-based homeschool curriculum. I highly recommend that you at least look and see what they have to offer. We have been thrilled with our BJU Press homeschool courses, so make sure to check them out. And they generously are sponsoring this live this evening so that I can come and give you guys the help that you need for free. So let's give a shout out and some hearts. Ask me questions about BJU Press Homeschool as well in the comments, please. If you are using that particular curriculum, also put that in the comments because it's nice to see what other people are doing out there and what you love. Yes.
Jules.
Next question from Jules. Okay.
Christy, if not knowing math facts is making math take hours,
yes.
do you use curriculum and just work on those facts, and how?
Okay. This is such a relatable question. Jules is saying, if not knowing your math facts is making math last for hours, what do you recommend doing? This has happened to me with one of my children, actually two, if I remember correctly. And what I highly recommend if not knowing the math facts is starting to interrupt the homeschooling, I suggest that you get those shored up. And even if it means stopping the curriculum for the time being and spending 3 weeks just getting automaticity with the math facts, here's a fancy word that's great to know if you're a homeschooler. It's called automaticity. This is what we want with our math facts. In fact, in Thrive Homeschool Community, I coach mamas that I think math is a pretty foundational subject. It does build on itself. It's important that our kids have math literacy. So I like mamas to do math twice a day, once in the curriculum that you are choosing, and then we do math facts. That's a second time. That's why I say twice a day. The second time in the day would be math facts. It can be flashcards. It can be computer programs. It can be apps. It can be anything. We switch it up. Our kids get sick of one app, we move to another, just as long as they're practicing every single day. And pretty much through the elementary years, I would say probably my 5th grade girls next year will probably stop doing their math facts, but that's after doing their math facts every day for a solid 4 years. So I would recommend, if it's really, really a problem getting through your regular curriculum, you have the freedom to just stop the regular curriculum, work on the math facts, try to get those shored up. It'll also make your child's math experience with the curriculum a lot better. We got to remember something. Okay, we're going to get philosophical here right now. We got to remember what builds confidence with kids' math, okay? It is not telling your kid you're smart. That's not building their confidence, okay? What builds our confidence in things is capability and small successes. And those incremental small successes that we can then look back on and say, wow, look how far I've come. That's what builds confidence. Success builds confidence. And so if you're not getting that, then it's time to step back. And I can help you with this too, to step back and say, okay, this isn't real. This is not working right now. We got to figure out how to turn this train around and figure out a different approach. So if you need permission tonight, if you have been tearing your hair out with the math curriculum, then you have permission because of the math facts not being down pat. You have permission from me tonight to take a little break, maybe not a little one. I remember one year it was 3 full weeks of we stopped the curriculum and we just shored up the math facts. So I hope that if that was you tonight, let me know if you needed permission. If you are tearing your hair out right now with math, I want you to look at CTC Math. It is a fabulous homeschool math curriculum. Also, if your kid is struggling in math and you really like the curriculum that you're currently using, CTC Math is also an excellent math tutor. I really think every homeschool mom should be looking at CTC Math and comparing other programs to CTC Math. It is absolutely stellar. It does a lot of the things that we know in psychology kids need. It gives the incremental rewards. The questions are adaptive. So what that means is that it doesn't give a kid too hard of a question in the very beginning so they feel like a failure. The questions actually change according to how it reads the student along the way. It still gets them where they need to be, but it gets them where they need to be at their own pace. We use CTC Math in our own homeschool, and I absolutely love it, and my kids love it. They get their confettis, they get mastery stars. They get all the things. You can also, the parent can program in mixed reviews. So every Friday, my kiddos have a worksheet that they print out, and it's a mixed review of everything they've learned so that I know that they're not forgetting things. Anyway, please do. If you are a CTC Math user, please put that in the comments as well. And they sponsor my podcast, and they're a wonderful, wonderful company. I highly recommend that you look at what they do. Okay.
Felicia says, did you start CTC in kindergarten? If so, did you sit with your child one-on-one for every lesson?
Yes. So some of my children we do sit with their math lessons at CTC, and some of our children do a lot better independently. You can choose. It's really what your child needs. And it depends. It really does depend. And yeah, CTC is K through calculus. It's a really great program. All right. Do we have more questions?
Jules says, yeah, it's the facts that are slowing us. Love CTC,
Yeah.
just the facts are slowing us.
Yeah. And then once your kids know the facts, CTC math has fun drills, like video game drills, once they know them, that they can practice their math facts and get them faster. So, and when I say we switch it up, literally, I want to say every 6 months, we're doing a different program for the math facts, a different app, or sometimes we have a season where they like to do flashcards. Sometimes it's a season where it's an app, a game. It all just changes up, and I don't really care. We just pick what works for us, what they're not bored with, and I'm winning because their math facts are down and our math days go a lot easier. Hello, everybody. Welcome. If you're not sure who I am, ask me. I don't want to repeat it if I don't have to. But my name, though, is Christy-Faith. I am author of this book, Homeschool: Rising, Shattering Myths, Finding Courage, and Opting Out of the School System, because we can take back our kids' hearts and minds. The school system does not align with kids where they are and how they need to learn. It does not align with them academically. It does not align with them emotionally. It does not align with them psychologically. In fact, the way the system is set up, which I go over in here, it sets them up to fail. It sets them up to compare. It sets them up to be perfectionists if we're not careful. And that's a lot of stuff to try to undo just on nights and weekends. And you can take back your kids' hearts and minds. And let me tell you, I love my homeschooling life. And a lot of the mamas I know, especially in Thrive Homeschool community, we are just never looking back. So I'm glad you're here tonight. Let's keep the questions coming. Do we have another one?
Miss Kyle says, I graduated from BJU. Didn't know they had a homeschool option.
Oh, that's crazy. Yes. So Kyle said she graduated from BJU. Yes, BJU Homeschool has a homeschool curriculum, and it's fabulous. It's really, really fabulous. Tailored to homeschoolers. And it does a lot of the heavy lifting. It's great if you have, I'm just going to say it. It's great if you have some insecurities with particular areas. So because the teaching is so academically excellent that you can kind of lean on that if you don't want to relearn like physics, like I have no interest in relearning. So yeah, it's pretty great. All right. Do we have more questions? Hi, everybody on TikTok. I still want to know where you're from. Who did their style finder? It's free, the 5-minute homeschool style finder. And let me know what style you came out as. Yeah, Scott.
Wagmore Barkless, my son does CTC. He's in 7th grade.
Nice.
We're thinking of doing a 2-day-a-week program next year for the core subjects. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so right now there's a mama doing CTC math. But I think the question's unrelated. She was just sharing that she also does CTC math. Yeah. Okay. But next year, what's the grade level? 7th grade. So it'll be 8th grade?
Yep.
She's considering for her 8th grader to do a 2-day-a-week academic core program. Is she the one in Colorado?
She is not.
Oh, she's not. Okay. Because I'm like, I bet you I know which one.
They are in Colorado.
Okay.
But not the other one in Castle Rock.
Gotcha. Okay. And where they're doing the core subjects at the co-op. Okay. This one's tricky for me because you just need to know what you're getting into. Okay. So let me tell you this. The reason why I don't do academic co-ops. Okay. This is going to be a little edgy. The reason why I don't do academic co-ops is because I want to choose what is going to be the right curricula option for each of my learners. And I have my kids in different curriculum. So the problem I have with the academic co-ops where it's 2 days a week, where kind of basically they're telling what the parent to do on the off days, there is no shade to that. We have one near us, and let me tell you, I have friends who work, for example, and if it wasn't for that 2-day-a-week program where they can drop their kids off, they would not be able to homeschool. No shade at all. And even if it's not a perfect fit academically, it's still worth homeschooling your kids. Totally. But that is the reason why I always opt to choose co-ops that are a little bit more elective based. So the last one that we were in, my girls had a hand lettering class, and then there was a science experiment class. There was even a program where they could have student council and yearbook and things like that. So that's what I prefer. That's where a lot of that social interaction that I want is, and things like that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but you're going to give up a lot of control over what subjects you are doing and what curriculum you can choose when you enroll your kid in one of those more academic co-ops, it's fine. You'll be fully aware of what you're getting into. So, okay.
Somebody asked, when you're talking about CTC math, are you talking about the subscription, $40 a month? For CTC isn't that much.
Yeah, CTC isn't that much. In fact, CTC has a really good deal for homeschoolers. They give you 6 months free when you sign up. So you can check. If you go to my website, they sponsor my podcast. So click the podcast link and there'll be a link for CTC in there. And that will get you directly to the homeschool deal that they offer. Yes.
Ari from New Jersey, second year homeschooling here. Finding you was our turning point when we started.
Oh, where is she? What platform is Ari on?
TikTok.
Hi, thank you. Oh, that is so sweet. I'm so glad. I had some great consultations this week too of moms, just quite emotional, and it's pretty amazing when you write a book and it just goes out there into the universe. This is my book, and it goes out there in the universe, and you're like, is this really going to help people? Is this going to help parents realize that they can? And so when I get on consultations, now that my book's been out long enough where people have read it, often the first thing they say is, Christy, I read your book, and that kind of led me to your website and your resources, and that just led me to Thrive, and then led me to a consultation, and it's just, and now here we are, homeschooling the kids in January, and it's really emotional to have that experience, because we really can homeschool our kids. You probably can homeschool your kids, even if you're a working parent. And if you really, really want to, you may not be able to do it right this second. You may need a year plan, a 2-year plan, and that's okay. So, but we're here with you to support you along the way. We have another question.
Ms. Kyle, tested Waldorf, but I wanted to do Charlotte Mason. I'm so confused now.
Oh, what was your second one?
And third one.
Yeah, what was your second and third one?
While we wait for her.
Okay.
Tibbet, I'm losing my strength to stay focused and feel like I'm failing my kids. What can I do?
Okay, what platform? It's Tibbet? TikTok. She says she says that she is losing her steam and having struggles being disciplined with the homeschooling.
Feels like, losing strength to stay focused.
Okay, losing strength to stay focused. Girl, we're twins. I can help. Was that all? Losing the focus before I answer?
It feels like she's failing.
And you feel like you're failing. Okay, so number one, there's a book I want you to buy. Right now. Don't buy my book. Okay, there's another book that I want you to buy. And that book is called The Gap and the Gain. There's another book that I want you to buy. And I want you to buy Atomic Habits. You may already have it in your library. And if you haven't done a reread on it, do a reread on it. Do a reread on Atomic Habits. Let me tell you, as a homeschool mom with a spazzy mind, whom I'm always in my head, I'm always intellectually thinking about whatever. I'm just off in la la land. I will get hyper-focused on something for hours until I implemented some of those strategies, both mindset shifts and practical strategies with habit stacking, for example, and things like that. I really did also feel like a failure. Now, there are some things that I don't know. I don't know you. I don't know how you're implementing your homeschool. If I knew that, if we were in Thrive and we were on office hours, we could go over, or DMing each other in Thrive, we could be going over your schedule. I could say, well, okay, there's maybe too many transitions in your day, for example. let's cut that back. Or what, this is way too much. We need to cut stuff. Or maybe you need a more tightened up schedule. So this is going to sound weird. Okay. This is going to sound really weird, and I'm going to say it anyway. And I actually don't care what anybody thinks because it's my truth. And that is, I dreamt of that beautiful Charlotte Mason on the nature walks, lighting candles, reading poetry, recitations, my kids listening to classical music and being able to identify and all of that. And I would go on Instagram and I would see everyone's perfect homeschooling days, and their kids aren't melting down and they're stirring and making banana bread, and the mom is in a beautiful dress and her hair is perfectly curled. And I just would say, that's not me. Are you kidding? I have 4 kids under 5 and under. This is nuts. And I felt like a failure. I wanted to do all those things. And then I would get started with my homeschool day. And sure enough, I would tucker out by the time I got all the core stuff done, and I wouldn't get to the stuff that I dreamt of that in my mind is what made my homeschool beautiful. I'm going to tell you something. Okay? You can do everything you want, but you can't do it all right now. You have to have seasons. And you're looking at people's perfect Instagram versions of their day. That's not your day. That's not my day. That's not real. However, can we have those beautiful candlelit moments where our kids memorize poetry and they recite it? We absolutely can. But we can't have it without a framework and a structure. The most freeing thing I did for my homeschool, and if you hear nothing else from this live tonight, I think this is really important. What made me feel the freest in my homeschool was when I tightened up my schedule. And we worked according to time increments, and that way it freed us up to do those things that we loved. Because what happens, practically what happens, is that if we don't have a kind of a tightened up schedule, the kids are coming at us all day. When are we starting? What are we doing today? And then, oh, do I have to do science? Do I have to do this? Do I have to do this? The more tightened up I became, they stopped asking me those questions because they were doing those things anyway. We had to do those things, but then we had the time to do those things that we really wanted to do and loved. And I feel like that's not on social media enough. It's like, you know how you can have, it's the same thing as the way to get financial freedom is to have a budget. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. So tightening up my day and my schedule was like the best thing. Now, in terms of any mamas here feeling like a failure, feeling like they haven't covered as much as they needed to or wanted to, they're worried their kids are behind, you're not where you need to be in the curriculum, I want you to buy the book, The Gap and the Gain. I really do, because that gets you out of that comparison mindset and it makes you see how far you've come. It truly is a transformative book. I would love, if any of you knows the author of that book, I want that man on my podcast. I love that stinking book. I love it. Yeah.
Tibbet says, are you in my house? Because that is exactly what's happening.
Yeah, because I knew it. When you said it, I knew it. I'm like, we are the same girl. We are the same girl. And you're probably really thoughtful and deep and emotional and in tune, and you love your kids and you think they're amazing, and yet they drive you crazy. Yeah.
Alicia says, can you expand on what you mean by tightened up schedule? What does that look like each day?
Okay. So, all right. Okay. Okay. So, for me, I can tell you, where's Felicia?
On TikTok.
Okay. So, Felicia, for me, what the tightened up schedule looks like, now I work full time. Okay. I work full time. What the tightened up schedule looks like for us is 15-minute increments. So, do I have it? Do you see our schedule somewhere? Now, you're like, gasp! Christy has her kids doing something every 15 minutes? No. It's what I said is it's 15-minute increments, but most subjects, yeah, we can't find it right now. Most subjects have like a half hour or 45 minutes, but I add 15 minutes to every subject for margin. for margin. So anytime I think a subject needs to take, or I want it to take, because we're time-based homeschoolers, we're not subject-based homeschoolers. If that's new to you right now, time-based homeschooler versus subject-based homeschooler, if you've never heard that terminology, then I need you to join Thrive. That's like the first thing we need to take care of. So you got to be a time-based homeschooler, not a subject-based homeschooler. You're not done with that with science when you finish the lesson. That's not fair because school could last till 7 p.m., right? We allocate time to each of our subjects and ample time. So say my son, who's a lot older now, right? So say math is a 45-minute thing. We allocate an hour in our schedule. So there's margin. My son loves the structure, loves it because he can check off everything that he's completed. So this is going to overwhelm you. I don't know. I've contemplated giving this away. I'm not sure. If I get enough emails saying, please, Christy, give us your schedule, I might consider it. But I have 4 columns. So I'm in one and then my 5 columns and then my 4 kids after. And it's where I am. So what child I am with teaching what lesson, and where each of the children, what they are doing. Now I have twins, so the twins are doing a lot of subjects together. We do subjects together with my 3 girls too. We do science all together using BJU Press Homeschool. And so there's that. But 15-minute increments is what has been the golden magic for us. My kids love checking everything off. My son feels like I'm always ahead. He doesn't know that I put margin in his schedule to make sure that he always kind of feels ahead. He gets the dopamine hits of checking things off. Raise your hand if you love to check off things like a to-do list. Yeah. And then we are done homeschooling, you guys, by lunch. After lunch, maybe there's flashcards, Latin, practicing their Latin flashcards, some math facts, and maybe a little bit of, if they have like a quiz the next day in their online Latin class or something, that's the afternoon. I start working. I start working at 1. So, and then I hold my kids accountable. So that's like the gist of it. But it sounds crazy because you're going to hear in the homeschool space, we don't have schedules. We just explore, and this, kids don't thrive with that. Look at psychology. Kids need structure. They need structure. They need a safe compass and a leader who they have confidence in. That's what they need, and not in a rigid way at all. At all. That's why I say add margin. You got to add margin to your schedule. Every single piece of the schedule has to have margin, and you'll feel a lot more successful. And then you stick to it. You stick to that ding dong schedule. Can I say how hard it is for me to stick to my own schedule? Oh, because I'm the rebellious type and I feel confined. I mean, that's us homeschoolers, right? We're just rebellious. But let me tell you, our days and weeks are so much smoother when I discipline myself to stick to the beautiful schedule that I made and spent a lot of hours thinking through. All right. Do we have more questions?
Just follow up on Miss Kyle. She's like,
yeah.
I don't know what my other 2 were. There should be an email. She should have gotten an email with all 3.
Okay. So if you took the 5-minute homeschool style finder, then you will be getting an email to your inbox where it summarizes your top 3 styles. I know you came out Waldorf and you were hoping to be Charlotte Mason. That's not too far of a departure. I think you'll be just fine. That's good to know though, because you're not traditional, right? You're not classical. So those are like kind of the other end of things. And that's really helpful information to eliminate. So yeah, maybe some subjects you'll be very Waldorfy, and then maybe for history you're going to read living books like the Charlotte Mason style does. So you'll be fine. Those aren't too contrasting.
Kendra says, I want a schedule like that so bad, but it just seems so impossible with having a toddler and a newborn.
No, Kendra. Oh, Kendra, where are you, my love? Is she on TikTok? I love you so much. Of course you can't have that schedule. Yeah, of course you can't have that schedule yet. But Kendra's amazing. Kendra is our special needs support in Thrive Homeschool community. And she is homeschooling a toddler. And she is doing amazing with her kiddos. Let's give her a hug. Anybody else have a baby and a toddler and trying to homeschool in your house? But yeah, no, I mean, it really does. When I had a baby and toddler twins when I was homeschooling my 5-year-old in kindergarten. And one homeschooling your kindergartner does not take that long. If you want to know how long homeschooling should take, go ahead and download my free How to Homeschool guide. I have a chart in there based on your kiddo's age, how long homeschooling should take. Spoiler alert, it's like half the time of traditional school because we don't have crowd control issues. Well, maybe we do. Maybe some of us, some days I feel like I have crowd control issues. But the nice thing is that usually when you have a baby and toddler, unless you have like a lot of kids, 8 kids or something like that, usually your kids are a little bit younger, like it's a 5-year-old or maybe a 7-year-old. Those school days don't take that long. And so you can try to manage those between the naps and things. Kendra's in Thrive. She already knows all of this. I'm just trying to encourage mamas who also have babies and they're thinking, how on earth does a mom do this? So that should be helpful information for you too. Yes.
Ari says, yeah, I have ages 7 to 4 plus.
Okay.
Very pregnant with number 4.
Oh.
Schedules are non-existent, but we try.
Yeah.
This season.
Yes, it is. It really is.
And Felicia's in Thrive. She says Thrive has support for special needs. It's amazing.
Oh, yes, we do. Yeah. We have, in January, we're starting Zoom office hours for moms whose kids have special needs. Or maybe you have an interesting learning profile yourself. Join the club. What is that? In the club, we all fam. So we're starting those office hours. We have office hours for veteran homeschool moms. If you're on the verge of burnout and quitting and your kids are older, please join Veteran Homeschool Moms. We have an entire office hours just if you're homeschooling teens. We also have office hours if you're homeschooling preschool to 2nd grade. That's the little kids. We want to get you on the right track with reading and writing and arithmetic and things like that. We also have an elementary age office hours. You're welcome to come to all of them, but we separated them because that's just the best way to organize it to make sure that when you come to an office hours, you are getting the information that's going to be the most helpful to you. So you don't have to, if you have a 5-year-old, you're not listening to a conversation about a teenager, right? It's helpful to come to those and observe, but that's why we separate them. Okay. Do we have more questions?
Let's see. On Instagram, Wagmore Barkless says, Kendra is amazing. She's so supportive.
I know. Yeah. Thrive is really an amazing culture. It's unlike any Facebook group that you would find. So if you are feeling like you need support with your homeschool, you're worried about messing up, maybe things aren't looking like you had planned for them to look, you're worried about failing your kids, maybe they are behind, maybe your child has special needs, please check out Thrive Homeschool Community. It's why it exists. We exist to make you a successful homeschooler and to love this life, because it really is amazing. We also talk a lot about parenting techniques, and strategies as well. So
we're in the home stretch here.
Okay, home stretch. So any last questions, please funnel those in right now. We're in the last stretch of this live. I hope you took my free 5-minute homeschool style finder. If you're homeschool curious, I hope you grab my How to Homeschool guide. It's free as well. Yes.
Struggling my first year with ADHD 8-year-old.
Yes.
Not sure if she needs more deschooling or alternative.
Okay. So is she in Thrive?
I don't think so.
Okay. What platform and what's her name? And I'll repeat the question for you. It's a good question.
Facebook. Okay.
Facebook. Yes. First year of homeschooling, 8-year-old with ADHD, and you're not sure if you should be doing more deschooling or what? Or alternatives. So this is what I will tell you is probably not more deschooling, and I don't know how you're doing the deschooling, but for kiddos with ADHD, I don't want to make any assumptions, but a lot of times deschooling is very loosey-goosey. And in terms of what you're doing per day. And I want to make sure we're not mixing up the term unschooling with deschooling. Those are 2 different things. Unschooling is a style. It's one of the 9 styles. pedagogies. And then deschooling is the process to kind of undo the imprinting that our society has put on us regarding what an education is. So those are two separate things, unschooling and deschooling. And so with your daughter who has ADHD, often what happens with deschooling is there's a lack of structure that the kids need. And so my guess, if I was to have you in Thrive, we could talk further about it, but my guess is that probably not more deschooling. Also, I would be so curious to be finding out where the frustrations were in your days and to figure out what skills there are lacking to work on. And this is the beauty of being able to homeschool is we can be students of our kiddos. And when we see concerning behaviors or anything like that, we can investigate and see, okay, what skills are lacking here that we can work on? Is it problem solving? Is it frustration tolerance? Is it perfectionism? What's going on here? And then we can target those exact skills. So I would love to get to know you more. If you feel like you don't know me well enough yet, that's okay. But will you at least get on my mailing list, like my email list, or download one of my guides just so that you're now in the realm. And you can stalk me. You can stalk me, not a good word. You can look at everything that I have to offer. You can also buy my book, you guys. It's called Homeschool Rising. It is really good. It's good. Yes, I taught English too. And I'm an author who wrote a book. Can she use good grammar? Apparently not. What was I going to say about Homeschool Rising? It's a really good price right now on Amazon. Very, very low. So originally it was priced at $27 and I think it's $17 and change right now on Amazon Prime. So please grab that. If you are going to be homeschooling in January and commence your homeschooling, I would love to get to know you and help you out. Yeah. Anybody use My Father's World curriculum? It's not a curriculum that I use. And that's a great question. Like when we're in Thrive, that's the type of question we put in the threads. And then you hear from the hundreds of women who have tried it. And the threads are different. It's not like Facebook where there's no skin in the game. You can anonymously give people bad advice. Like Thrive, we are all invested and we care about each other. And so the advising that we give one another in Thrive is really phenomenal. So yeah, we'll see if anybody uses that curriculum and they can chime in. So, okay, are we ready to wrap up?
I think so.
All right, you guys, it was so wonderful to spend time with you tonight. I might go live before Christmas. I might not. I'm not sure. We have a couple of sick kids in our house right now. We had a stomach bug, and then yesterday I think we have an ear infection now. So, but I think we'll be okay, and I hope to see you before the holidays. If not, then I'll see you in Thrive or on social media. I love you guys. Have an absolutely wonderful night. If you have any questions about homeschooling, please email me. We check every single email. So do not hesitate to reach out and email us with any question that you have. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. All right. Mwah. Love you guys. Bye.